Eastern Conference and talk about the New York Knicks, who have been playing much better basketball since acquiring O.G Anunoby in a trade with the Toronto Raptors. They're sitting at 23 and 16 right now, which is good enough for sixth in the Eastern Conference. But I want to ask you, I know the New York Knicks is one of your favorite teams. Since acquiring these new pieces, can they now get past the second round and reach the Eastern Conference Finals?
I believe yes, but it's going to take a lot of ground to cover within these months, based on the trade deadline and then just the opt out contract seasons. What I've seen thus far within the New York Knicks, there's definitely a lot of versatility on offense now. Now that you don't have a guy like OG Anunoby, who's specifically known for being a 3-and-D player, somebody that doesn't need the ball to be effective on the floor. You put him in the corner and catch and shoot situations. He's one of the best to do it in the league today. It definitely gives more offensive luxury for Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle, which you can see that they've been thriving on. One thing I'm noticing too, with the absence of Mitchell Robinson, Isaiah Hartenstein has really stepped up into that role of being that defensive anchor. But for them to reach the Eastern Conference Finals, I'm gonna need to see just maybe another move towards the trade deadline. You still got contracts like Evan Fournier that you still got to get rid of, things of that nature, and you need to replace the offense off the bench that you had with Emmanuel quickly. So I want to see another 6-man candidate position for the New York Knicks to really fit what they got going on. Just those things need to be addressed before they could even think about reaching Eastern Conference Finals. But what I've seen thus far, though, I really do believe that they can make it there. What I'm seeing within the seedings right now is from the third seed to the eighth seed, they're only like 1 or 2 games apart. So if the Knicks can capitalize on this trade deadline and find just a little bit more offense, because the defense is going to be there with OG Anunoby now. You've seen how really things are coming to flow on the defensive side too. You don't have to put like a guy like Josh Hart or Quinn Grimes on like main ball like guys like a Jimmy Butler, Jason Tatum, Jalen Brown. Wing guys. You have somebody now that can hold his own and one of like the best defensive players that we got out right now. So what I'm seeing right now is just that all the pieces, are there. The Knicks are slowly, gradually, making the right moves. They're not, trying to jump the gun, to say, let's put all our chips into getting a superstar. Let's get the right pieces that fit this system that we want to do, and then we could take it further from there. So this move with the OG Anunoby trade just gives the Knicks a little more flexibility on what they want to do on the offensive end and the defensive end.
All right, so to harp on your point, I think since acquiring OG Anunoby, they have been a much better team. But I still think this team needs a lot more. Now, you definitely made a great point that, losing someone like Emmanuel quickly and who else did they give up in the trade?
RJ Barrett.
Right, and RJ Barrett. Now you can focus on just having the ball in Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle's hand because to your point, OG Anunoby is someone who doesn't need the ball all the time, damn near at all. He's very good in the catch and shoot, those corner threes. And to your point, also he's also a great defender. So if they were to make the playoffs, he can guard those elite wings that are in the Eastern Conference. But once again, and I've heard Becky Hammond say this. Shout out to the Las Vegas Aces. I just don't know if Jalen Brunson as a number one option can just take you there. Like the only two small guards to lead their team to a championship has been Stephen Curry
Right.
and Isaiah Thomas. Alvin Iverson got to the finals but couldn't get it
Couldn't
done.
get done, right?
Right. So I just don't know if Jalen Brunson has that number one guy. And then your number two now definitive is Julius Randle. And we know that in the regular season, at worst, he's decent. He's a very good regular season player. I can say once he keeps his head focused and doesn't focus on the crowd or anything like that, just being in the garden, playing in New York City, that does come with a lot. But he's only had two performances in the playoffs, and last time we seen him,
He was crap.
right, but that regular season, which was last year, 25, 10, and 4, or 46% shooting from the field, and he was shooting decent from the 3-point line. That was fine. Then got to the playoffs, those numbers dropped down to 15, 8, and 4, 34% from the 3-point line. And the only person shooting worse that was taking at least 6 threes in those playoffs was Dylan Brooks. If you're going to be a number two option, that can't happen if you're going to beat the teams like the Boston Celtics, the Milwaukee Bucks, the Philadelphia 76ers, the Miami Heat. Right now, those four teams I would trust more in a playoff series because they all at least have that one guy that I've seen take their team Well, besides Joel Embiid, the jury's still out on him.
Right.
But we talk about Jimmy Butler. We talk about Giannis Antetokounmpo. We talk about Jason Tatum. I've seen them lead their team to the finals. But then if you look at what those three even have in common, big athletic wings. They're not small guards. So to your point, I think the Knicks have to make another trade. And Woj said that, after the O.G Anunoby trade, there's more to come. But I'm just not sure what exactly that piece is.
Yeah, me neither though, because you really gotta. I look at it now. It's just like, because they said they're open to trade Julius Randle for the trade deadline, but what are you gonna get in return? If you're gonna get something, you gotta have at least two pivotal players that can really impact the team to replace the scoring outlet that you have, or another superstar. But there's no superstar that's gonna be out there on the trade deadline market. So right now, I think this New York Knicks franchise has to put a lot on Julius Randle. There has to be expectations this season for him to even show up and have a great postseason. Because if not, then we just wasted years with him. But I do believe that this year that he could do it, bro. Because there's no way like you could have went 2 years in the postseason and you're just a shell of yourself. So this year, there's a lot of expectation. We know it. The fans know it. He knows it, especially that he has to show up this year. Because there's no ifs, ands, or buts. You got a guy like Jalen Brunson who damn near put the team on his back last postseason. When we seen that game 6, literally had 40 back-to-back in game like 5 and 6. So you know what he's capable of. You now have a solid wing defender so you could relieve the pressures of having to switch or not worrying about how we're going to stop Jimmy Butler or Jason Tatum. You're not going to stop them, but you could contain them. Then you have a backup defender in Josh Hart and that rebounds. So you have everything going for you right now. This team right now has looked very good offensively. So everything that you got right now is really depending on, can Julius Randle be at least 1B? You got like at least great enough to be 1B to a point to where it's just like, all right, we can relieve some of the pressure off Jalen Brunson.
But is him being 1B and Jalen being 1A or even vice versa good enough to beat a Boston Celtics?
If they could avoid the Boston Celtics, they could see them in the
would
conference
they,
finals.
with this constructed roster right now, would they beat the Boston Celtics in a 7-game series?
No.
Would they beat the Milwaukee Bucks in a 7-game series?
They have a puncher's chance.
Seb, yes or no? Are they gonna beat the Bucks in a 7-game?
I say puncher's chance.
But if you had to make a prediction, would you have the Bucks or the Knicks?
Hear me out though. Wait, hear me out. Hear me out though. Because everything got to be healthy. I got to see how the lineup.
Both teams are healthy. Milwaukee or the Knicks. Both teams healthy.
The Knicks are not healthy. They don't have the
the
best offensive rebounder in the game.
I'm saying
they don't have their rim protector.
Listen to me. I'm saying if they went to the playoffs and both teams were healthy, who you got? That's what I'm asking.
Giannis right now, man. I'm just begging off of Giannis.
So you're saying the Bucks?
Yes.
Okay, so the 76ers.
That's up in the air.
Well, who would you pick? I understand
I pick
it
the
could
Knicks,
be
bro.
You gonna take the Knicks over Sixers?
Yes.
Okay. And then the Miami Heat.
I'm taking the Knicks this year, bro. They
How
ain't
many
no
times-
game, Vince.
Seb,
Yo,
Seb.
hit me out. They ain't no game, Vince.
Now you hear me out. Hold on. How many times is the Miami Heat gonna, just coast through the regular season and get to the finals and beat your favorite players, led by Jimmy Butler? How many times would he have to do it within the last 5-6 years?
Bro. What they do it last year? Last year they called everybody. Nobody's gonna get caught by.
Not the first time they went to the finals, except in the last 6 years. Don't do that, sir.
Look, you said caught by surprise though. There was an 8th seed last year. Nobody.
Okay.
If you know that,
I was the one that had faith in. That was you and Jalen who didn't believe in him. I did.
Yeah, but I'm saying though, if they make it to the playoffs, there's expectation now. It's just like, we're not gonna take them lightly just because there was an 8th seed or wherever they finish off.
And what does that? And what are you trying to say though? Are you saying teams are now gonna adjust differently?
Yes. You think, all right, so hear me out.
Playoff Jimmy has been a stigma for over 5 years.
But hear me out,
not
though.
just last year, bro. We know how he raises his level in the playoffs. We know that Heat culture. And we seen Eric Spoelstra just get the highest paid contract after you just passed up Monty Williams, who... We're not talking about Monty Williams again, but just got his bag and old Pat Riley up top. We know what the Miami Heat does.
We do know what they do,
year.
but at the end of the day, though, you got to think about it like this. They caught a lot of teams by surprise, though, as the 8th seed, though. We could say playoff Jimmy, bro, but they was fighting in the play-in.
This is not college basketball to where it's a 1 game and then you're knocked out with a 7-game
here.
series. Not every game you was caught by surprise, bro. It's game planning, coaching, and your star players leading you there, helped by the other Seb. It's not always.
And what
caught
others
by
do they have now, though? They lost Gabe Vincent. They lost Max Strus. 2 pivotal players.
The rookie's playing very solid.
Which rookie?
What's his name? The one.
Jaime Jaquez. He's playing solid.
He's solid.
He's solid. But
Josh Richardson is a vet, and he's someone that I think will help them in the playoffs. And then who else they got? They still have. Don't they still have the Martin kid?
Caleb Martin.
They still got Caleb Martin,
I'm
who
not- I'm
arguably
not-
could have won Eastern Conference Finals Player of the whatever the hell that award
The
is.
MVP shit?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like let's not do that, sir.
All right, but I'm just saying is this team digressed a little. I'm not sure if they're gonna have the same success though. It's really up in the air though. That 3 to 8 seed though, is a lot of those teams.
Yes, and I
one of them could
understand
get
that,
knocked
Seb.
off, bro.
But what I want to say, you've been watching basketball for a long time. We cannot just sit here and act like we're gonna put all our emphasis on the regular season, which we still are in. But we know the teams that are gonna coast through. We know the teams that are gonna be at the top, and we know the teams that are gonna be at the bottom now. Now we gotta think what's about to happen in the playoffs. It's coming sooner than later. I don't want to hear about this regular season. That's like talking about the Clippers. The Clippers are playing well right now, but are we gonna put all our stock into them right now because what they do in regular season? No, we have to see what happens in the playoffs. And the Knicks have not got to the Eastern Conference Finals since 2000.
That's true. That's true. Fair enough. Fair enough.
So I can't go all this if Julius Randle doesn't have a headache and his son wasn't bothering him before the game and now he doesn't want to shoot fadeaway threes. Bro, what's been going on from what we have seen?
Nah, respectfully, yeah, that's what I'm saying though. But it's a lot banking on them. But what I'm saying is that this year for the Eastern Conference is really up in the air for me though. Boston's
Seb,